First, let me show my love to Rebecca. I am truly grateful for her. I ran into her about 10 to 15 years ago, give or take. If you have been rocking with me on this journey, you know I got into my accident in 2007. But I graduated high school in 2006 as an honor student, and my mom kicked me out 4 days later, and my journey began of all negative things happening, starting with a woman. So I wanted to better understand women because this is the foundation for my masculine energy and its application. But at that time, I did not understand this. For those of you that don't know Rebecca, she is a coach and certified in everything she does for humanity. Look her up, follow her, subscribe to her, do whatever you need to do to absorb her knowledge because she is dope, her and her husband. I love both of them. So I actually started doing this video almost 3 weeks ago, but put it on hold because I was under the weather from dental complications. Now we back after antibiotics and all. So, and my face was also swole as well too. So we will be jumping from video to video to create better clarity when getting into the meat of this video. I want to create a foundation or ground that is concrete or absolute in nature. Something that I have been doing this entire channel. In order to establish the game called life, a field had to be created. This field consisted of two components called station charges and electric currents. Go watch the EMF video. In the sense of this video, the two components will be a ground in theory. To ground means to create a basis for a belief, action, or argument, a basic metaphysical cause, material that serves as a substratum or foundation, an area used for a particular purpose, an area to be wound or defended in, or as if in battle, an area of knowledge or special interest, or to provide a reason for justification for. These are all examples of a station charge. A theory is the analysis of a set of facts in their relations to one another. These relationships produce the electric currents.
Hello, happy Tuesday, everybody. I'm coming on, and I'm going to try to take my time with this message because I think it's so important, and there's so many nuances to this topic, and there's so many things that are on my mind this morning that I want to share, and I think that I definitely have to just make sure I take my time with this for a second. So first of all, the reason I'm doing this video is this morning I woke up and with some things on my mind that I was thinking about difficult women. My mind went back to matchmaking. I did a video years ago where I talked about unrealistic expectations of women, and you know, the manosphere took it and ran with it in so many different directions, but I was really talking about a demographic of women. My matchmaking clients were very high earning, high performing, high achieving women who've made, you know, 6 figures and plus, who had very unrealistic opinions about men or expectations of men. But there's something deeper that I want to share, which is what guided me into doing a lot of the healing work and spiritual healing courses and work that I began to do after being a matchmaker. And that was because what I discovered, and ladies, this is not something that you're going to really be aware of, especially if you yourself are a very loving and kind woman. Loving and kind women tend to run in packs, just like good men tend to run in packs. It's very easy to think that most people are like you. So as a matchmaker, what I encountered in some of these women was that the surface level, they were very nice, cool, I thought of as loving, good women. And then we got into the dating portion of the matchmaking through the initial coaching, and now it's time to get into the dates. And they were triggered. All this nasty, mean girl side of them came out. And I was so confused because they show up looking like nice, sweet, loving, kind women, but behind the scenes that you may not realize that who they are with men, who they are in different situations is totally different than how they're showing up with you in your friendship. So guess what? I realized there's a whole demographic of women who you may know, ladies who are listening right now, you may know and think, oh, she's so sweet, she's so nice, she's so cool, she's such a great friend. And she is a whole nightmare with men. She's a nightmare to date. She's a nightmare to try to get along with. She's a nightmare to try to please, right? So Jess Leslie says, what triggers the switch? The switch and the triggers come from trauma, rejection, unhealed pain, comes from childhood issues. It comes from all different types, but the end result is pain. The end result is unhealed pain. So guess what? I almost titled this video specifically towards women to say it might be you.
Now with the definitions given, coupled with Rebecca's inducive research, we can now create a ground theory, which is a systematic methodology that has been largely applied to qualitative research conducted by social scientists. Grounded theory involves the application of inductive reasoning, which is another way of saying applying what was learned from experience.
It might be you. You are the common denominator in your life. You may not be the type of woman that men want to marry. You may not be the type of woman that men want to marry. If you don't have men trying to, when they date you and do get a chance to know you, and they don't want to marry you, they don't want to be with you, you might be the problem. Because that's never been a problem in my life. And it's never been a problem for many of the women I know. And this is not for everybody. But I'm saying to the women who tend to be nasty, mean-spirited, right? Literally, constantly got an ego, projection, high standards, demanding, picky, never happy, constantly high maintenance. Everything's a problem. I saw it in my matchmaking, and I looked at these women and I got a totally different perspective. And that's not just black women. There are many women, white, black, Latina, who struggle to be married. Might have been married once, but listen, as they've gotten older and it gets worse and worse and worse, the attitudes get worse and worse, the entitlement, the hyper independence, everybody else is the issues, never looking at self. And this is what I want to be clear about. For these type of women, there is an overall lack of awareness that they are the problem. There's no personal accountability, there's no awareness, there's no work, they're not doing healing work. Because why would they want to do healing work? Why would I want to go to therapy? I'm not the problem. It's these men. These men suck, Rebecca. All these men suck. And the statistics, and they swallow up all the videos that talk about the difficulties in dating and the statistics, and they say they apply it to them as the excuse and the scapegoat for why nobody wants them, or why they can't be married with a good man. Why is it not working for you? No, sis, that's not it. You're still just one person. And there's plenty of good people in the world, good men in the world, that would be able to be married to you if you didn't have an attitude problem, if you didn't have PTSD, if you weren't walking around so prideful and projecting all this ego and acting as if you're the shit and nobody can even come close, that you're just lucky to even be dating me. You're lucky to even be around me. Oh, because you know I'm the ish.
So if we go back to the karma video, we talked about how this experience was about mastering the electron or the woman. Or it can be called emotions, because this is the foundation for the proton or the man
or it can be called logic. If people have not caught on, God is trying to reintroduce self and a new perspective within the 3D as temperance, which is the moderation in action, thought, or feeling. As stated in the personification video and throughout this channel, Spirit's favorite number is 3, which produces the energetic sequence of creativity, communication, optimism, and curiosity. To begin our 3, we define fund, F-U-N-D, which is to make or provide resources. This is the first necessity of the electron or the woman. Funds represent energy, and an abundance of funds or energy is or will attract and excite her because of her makeup. The dynamic of the electron and proton is the correct foundation needed to create, which forms their 2 verbs, giving and receiving. She is a receiver, so innately she craves energy, money, funds, resources, or whatever word you choose.
Then all of the work that goes into the posturing, so degrees and titles and cars and houses and money. I had 2 clients, a doctor and a lawyer, back when I was matchmaking. Couldn't beg, borrow, or steal a man to commit to them. They weren't ugly. They weren't ugly. We know that men will tolerate a lot of ish from gorgeous women. A lot of ish. Men will tolerate, let me say it again and slow down. Men will tolerate a lot from beautiful women. But if you're average and you're not drop dead gorgeous, I've said it before, what's drop dead gorgeous? Face and body. That does it for him. If you're not drop dead gorgeous and you're looking at other people and comparing situations to drop dead gorgeous women who got men tolerating their BS, because men are so visual, they'll tolerate more for those visuals, but still not be happy. The type of women that men truly want to be married to are beautiful women who are also kind, who have boundaries and backbone, but are not mean girls. They want some peace. They want peace in their day-to-day life. It's fine for you to have backbone. It's fine for you to have boundaries. That's what healthy people have. But to deal with BS constantly, up and down every day, don't know what you're going to deal with today, tomorrow, ups and downs and craziness, and she's triggered by this, and now she's mad at you over something that happened to her when she was 6, and all over the place. But then you're wondering why nobody wants to marry you. Shoot, your friends barely tolerate you. If you're really transparent with your friends aren't even honest with you. Because they catch on to the mean girl stuff. They catch on to the attitudes and the posturing and the ego. Because you know I'm the shit girl. Because you know me. I get it done. You know I handle my business. You know. And they're looking at you like, yeah, but you're pretty difficult. And I have to take you in doses. You think a man is going to lay down, wake up, deal with you in day-to-day life? If he can't enjoy his days, if it's constantly crazy, and you constantly making him feel like he's not as good as you, constantly throwing stuff in his face that he's not performing on your level, or he needs to get on your level, or he's not. And guess what? Guess who's guilty of this the most? Super high achieving, successful women who get a little money and it goes to their head and they think that their shit don't stink and they think that men are going to put up with them being brats because they think they bring all this to the table, and men don't care about that. So now your money, your car, your house, whatever it is you've accomplished materialistically, whatever it is you think that you bring to the table with your titles, your money, and all of that, he'll still leave. He'll still walk away, which is the very thing that you're afraid of, because you've got all kinds of pain from childhood issues of rejection and abandonment.
Number 2 will be the word a, which can be used as a function word with nouns to form adverbial phrases of quantity, amount, or degree. If we add number 3, a will convert to a bridge to give us a meant. Meant forms nouns expressing the means or result of an action. This is extremely essential because whatever is used to energize or fund the meant is what determines the action or result of the meant. This gives us our big 3: fund, a, meant, or fundament, which creates the ground theory expressed earlier. This theory has 2 perspectives. One is expressed as the buttocks or anus. This is why men are so attracted to the booty. It represents the foundation he's missing to create. The second perspective deals with the part of a land surface that has not been altered by human activities. From a scientific and logical stance, a man does not have to provide as much resources and funds to a land that has not been greatly altered versus one that has. Subconsciously, this is why it matters to a man of how many guys you have been with or the type of guys. Because of your makeup, you easily enter into a state of confusion when you are dealing with more than one masculine energy, especially if they are different types, because you begin to embody 2 energies that are in conflict with each other.
This is what I come to say. Therapy. Therapy. You need therapy. You've got to get help. You can't keep acting crazy. You can't keep blaming other people. It can't be every man you meet don't want to marry you. It can't be that just every single person in your life ends up leaving you. Guys, we know these type of women on the job. You encounter these types of women as the managers at work. You're encountering these women. Listen, we meet them and see them all the time and know them. They're the women that people call them a bitch behind their back. Behind your back, I'm talking to somebody, your friends and the people who really know you call you a bitch. There you go. Don Henry says it's not the money that intimidates men. It's usually the attitude and personality that repels men away from high-earning women. Amen. So let me talk about heart posture. Let me talk about mindset for a second, ladies. This is what we're covering in Soft Life Life. This mental and heart posture where you're constantly projecting like you are the ish is the very opposite of feminine. Because guess how this comes off? Masculine, strong, independent. I don't need nobody. I'm the ish. What do I need you for? I'm the blessing. I'm the prize. You better keep proving it to me that you deserve me. You better not mess up. You better not be human, because literally I'll drop you like a bad habit. And if you're a good guy who happens to get caught up in the cycle of the craziness, you can start to lose your mind. You can lose yourself. I know several really, really good men who have fallen in love with difficult, complicated, triggered, emotionally insecure, emotionally immature women, and that woman is constantly yanking his chain and got him in a crazy cycle. And he doesn't know how to opt out and get off the roller coaster ride because he loves her. He sees the good in her, but he's also going through and being abused in the meantime. It happens to good men just like it happens to good women. I'm talking to somebody. I don't know who I came on here for this morning, but I came on here for somebody because somebody needs to hear this message. You are the common denominator. And if you are dating and engaging with men and they don't fall in love with you and want to marry you, you're not the type of woman that men want to marry. He'll date you, he'll screw you, he'll hang out with you, but he's not marrying you. Why? Because marriage is a lifetime commitment. Marriage means I'm tying yourself, I'm committing to going to sleep and waking up with you every day. Let's reverse it for a second, ladies. If I can't be best friends with you and have fun, life out here is hard enough. Life out here is crazy. The world is beating everybody up all day long. Do you want to sign up for a lifetime of trials and tribulations and ups and downs and craziness, where you want to commit to say, I live in the house with this person, there's no escaping, I'm going to go to sleep and wake up with somebody who's tumultuous, emotional, angry, bitter, mean? I don't care if you can literally do acrobats in the bedroom. I don't care if your sex game is so strong and your head game, get them going crazy, girl, and you all the ish because you done taken all these tutorials about how to get head and how to have bomb sex, and now you a freak in the bedroom. I'm a lady in the street and a freaking, I'm a lady in the bed and a freaking street. Okay, but that still ain't got a ring on your finger because somebody won't commit to you because you act crazy. So you go through all of these mechanics of trying to get someone to love you, and the problem ain't the problem. There's so many titles I could give this video. The problem ain't the problem. The problem you keep focusing on, the problems you keep trying to solve are symptomatic surface level problems. Oh, when I lose this weight. Oh, when I get this degree. Oh, when I make that money. Oh, when I get the better job. Oh, when I get this new hairstyle. Oh, when I get my teeth fixed. Oh, when I wear this dress, when I get those high heels, when I can afford red bottoms, when I drive this BMW, when I buy that new house. Oh, when these kids get grown. Oh, when... That's not the problem. The problem ain't the problem. Client, 15 years ago, matchmaking. Beautiful. Beautiful girl. Sweet. Professional. Making good money. I thought she was sweet. Beneath the surface, a hot ass mess. And if I'm a woman, and y'all know I have a big heart, I love people. I love people. Guess what? But if I can look at you and say, damn, you've really got some issues. I get it now. How could you be this pretty and nobody wants to marry you? I understand now where these problems are coming from. Some of you guys inbox me constantly, will you matchmake? Oh, would you go and matchmake again? You don't need no matchmaker. Because at the end of the day, it doesn't matter who tries to bring a good man to you. Ain't nobody gonna be good enough. Ain't nobody gonna deal with your BS that you're projecting out here. And if I'm looking at you and saying, I wouldn't want to date you, I wouldn't want to marry you, you're not fun, you're not cool. I'd be signing up for a bunch of craziness. And many women, I'm not saying all women, y'all know I'm not talking about all women. There's some really lovely, wonderful women out here, just like there's some wonderful, lovely men out here. I'm talking about the segment of our population who is walking around super entitled, super independent, and thinking they are the shit. The shit. And guess what? The problem is not the problem. You can work on all this external, materialistic, physical-ish till you're blue in the face. But if you don't work on the underlying issues that cause you to show up as high maintenance and half crazy and mean and attitudey and entitled, nobody's gonna wanna marry you. Now you might be able to find you a real lame dude, somebody who's got lower self-esteem than you. You might be able to find somebody that's going to sign up for you, but you won't want him. And even then, he might date you, but not marry you. Therapy, coaching, healing work. We got to deal with the root issues. The root issues, not the superficial issues, the root issues, the mindset, the pain, the emotional, spiritual, sexual trauma, going back and dealing with all the stuff you run from and that you have not healed, the unforgiveness, all the exes that did you wrong, the people who cheated on you, the daddy issues, the mommy issues, the family issues, the friendship issues, all the unforgiveness, so that we can lay down all this posturing, lay down all this junk that gets in the way of love. You are the common denominator. You are the common denominator. It's your responsibility to deal with your ish. And we're not teenagers anymore. If you are a grown person showing up in new relationships, expecting a new person to deal with all your junk and put up with it when they're not the ones who caused it, they didn't cause it. They didn't initiate. They didn't hurt you. They didn't abandon you. They didn't reject you. They didn't do any of it. It's not their fault. Yet you're trying to make the new person pay for what the other person in previous situations and what your mommy and your daddy and your kinfolk did to you, and what that job did to you, and what that baby daddy did to you, and what the friends did to you, what you did to yourself, the choices you made. The choices you made. It is about healing and forgiveness. You can't lean into your femininity to lean into your soft wife life. You can't be what I preach about and attract the type of love and support that you really want without you doing the work to heal. Without you laying down and saying, I got time out. Time out. I gotta work on me. I gotta work on stuff that's blocking me from showing up as a good partner. At the end of the day, men want good partners. They may be distracted by beauty, but guess what? They're still not gonna be happy. They want partners, partnerships. They want to enjoy life with someone. You ever notice the person with the most issues is where all the attention goes to in a relationship? You ever notice the person who's hurting the most, all the attention goes to that person? Because there's always an issue, always a problem, always something coming up, always a complaint, always all crisis, always something. Just this constant daggone roller coaster ride. And Whitney says, I need to join this course because my softness is getting hard out here. Yes. Whitney, listen, I'm not saying that real life issues didn't cause the hardness. I'm not saying that real life situations didn't harden your heart and cause you to put up a wall. I understand. My heart is sensitive enough to understand that I have compassion for you. But the reality is that if you want different results in life, you can't navigate life with this hard heart. This hard armor and exterior that is trying to protect yourself but simultaneously blocking love. A good man can't even love you. A good man can't even come along and give you the best of himself. You won't even let him love you. You won't even let him take any weight off your shoulders. That was me for a long time. I got married, love carried a piece. He's a good man, loving man, kind man, hard-working man. And I was just I've been a single mother and divorced and raising my sons and starting businesses. And I've just been doing everything by myself for so long that it's not that I have a hard heart. That wasn't my issue. I didn't know how to partner. I didn't know how to let him help me. I didn't know how to let him take anything off of me. So we're single, and the reason you get married is so you can have a partner. But guess what? You can be in a relationship or get married and still be isolated and alone. And it still be all on you, even when you're with a good person, because you won't let him help. You won't let him take that load off of you and be a husband and partner to you. So now you're still dealing with the same ish you were dealing with when you were single. Look it up in the dictionary. You see a picture of Rebecca. And God had to work on my heart and work on my trust. Here's something that people don't realize. Ladies, trusting and submitting and surrendering to your husband to be there for you, provide for you, and protect you is the exact same spiritual posture that it takes for you to surrender to God. You don't really believe that God will provide for you. You don't really believe that God will protect you and provide for you. So you don't really believe that that man is going to take care of you and provide for you the way he says he will. Because if you can't trust God, how are you going to trust the man? Deeper levels of faith, deeper levels of surrender, deeper levels of love, deeper levels of trusting God. And seeing the God inside the man and literally following the leadership of God and your man. Because you're leaning in to faith. You're leaning in to trust. You're leaning in to the same energy how God as a father takes care of us. As a man, he's built to take care of. He's built to provide. He's built. Their shoulders are more broad. They're tougher than us. They are built to take a licking and keep on ticking. Men are built for it. As women, we're not built for that. God didn't even position us for the heart posture and emotional state to be able to handle so much pressure. We do what we have to do, but the truth is we lose ourselves in the process. We're exhausted. We're overwhelmed. Man, listen, the more I have fallen back and the more bills that Carrie pays, and we're using my money to invest and build up more retirement and invest in property, and then we're using my money to do all this other, the harder that Carrie works and the more I relax, the happier he is. It is the oddest thing. He literally working himself and loves to take care of his family. Loves it. I'm sitting here like, okay, he really likes this. You mean this whole time? I could have been living my soft wife life, but I wouldn't even allow myself to do that. I wouldn't let him step up to take on more so I could be more relaxed. I still am a part-time CEO. I still have all my passion projects and my businesses. I'm just not pressured to produce. Whitney says, how long did it take you? Several years, Whitney. Several years. It took me a long time. I was in this marriage bucking the system. Bucking the system, y'all. Not getting the benefits of marriage. Not getting the benefits of having a true partner. Michelle says, I'm praying for a man to take care of me. Listen, if you want to be a woman that a man wants to take care of, you got to be a woman that a man wants to marry. You got to be a woman that a man, you pull that out. You get that response from a man. I had to learn that. I had to learn that. There's a heart posture, a softness when we operate in our feminine, when we operate with Holy Spirit, when we become vulnerable and softer to where that it's irresistible to me. Irresistible.
To finish the expression of the particle, we reach to number 4, which Rebecca expressed the negative aspects of the energy that produced the number 4, through the shortcomings of the demographic of women she was referring to, including her own. That energy dealt with strength, efficiency, and commitment to growth, but in a distorted aspect. This distorted energy is represented by the AL, which is the suffix of a noun and represents the repetition or rehearsal of an action or process. If you all notice, when she finally mastered the positive end of being the fundamental particle, it allowed her husband to naturally fall into his destined role, which this is an example of the radioactive decay of an atom, which is what this channel has been talking about since the beginning. This created a system that is their heaven. Fundamental is the sum of our four, and when defined, it is one of the minimum constituents without which a system would not be what it is. Watch this video as many times as possible until this actually saturates into your bones. And shout out to Mr. and Mrs. Pope.